Hey, it's Daryl again. Welcome to my new set. I just repurposed a work office to make a video, and you'll be able to see an inconsistency with this tree because it was fun. And I was trying to work out up in this top corner about where I should make that corner come to the corner of the screen, and then I discovered that it's not perfectly stable. You can kind of see it moving a little bit up there. So that's just fun for me. This video is going to be called 10 questions about electric cars, and again I'm in the New Zealand market, so a lot of these answers apply to New Zealand, but some of these answers will apply pretty equally to any other country as well. So first question I get asked a lot is where can I charge it, and the answer to that is that generally you'll just charge it at home in your garage, and generally for New Zealand you can just charge from a regular 3-pin wall outlet. So you just plug it in each night and it will recharge overnight while you're asleep. In the morning you'll have the range of your car available for your daily driving the next day. And then a further answer is that you can charge it at a DC fast charger. Some cars have AC fast charging. There's a few AC fast chargers around in New Zealand, but mostly we have a DC charging network. The DC charging network covers almost the entire country now, which means that you can just drive electric cars just about anywhere at all without having to plan ahead. And we have apps which tell you where the charging stations are, so you can make your journeys without much worry about running out of power. The network is basically set up with the chargers around 75 kilometres apart. In most cases, you'll probably be able to pass the charger about every 25 k's if you're near a big city, and if you're out in the country between big cities, the chargers could be up to about 75 kilometres apart is the normal experience, which means that you can drive just about any car with a DC fast charger around and not have any problems finding a charger. And next question is, how long does it take? Generally, if you're just using a normal 3-pin power outlet, you need to charge about 1 hour for each 10 kilometres you drive. So if you've got a car that can drive up to 120 k's, could be a maximum of about 12 hours charging at home overnight. But if you're just doing your normal commute, say you drive 60 kilometres a day, then you'll need about 6 hours to recharge. So that's the way of looking at that. On DC fast chargers, it tends to be about 20 minutes for 100 kilometres of driving. A lot of cars don't have really big batteries, so you can kind of think of it as 10 minutes for 50 kilometres of driving, something like that. If you've got a car with a really big battery, then you might need to charge it for 40 minutes, but you could probably in 40 minutes pick up near 200 kilometres of driving. Three-phase charging. So some cars can charge on three-phase charging 11 kilowatts, 22 kilowatts or 44 kilowatts. These cars are pretty rare in New Zealand, so you don't normally have to worry about that. The Renault Zoe is a good example of a three-phase charging car, and I think they can charge at 22 or 44 kilowatts, probably 11 kilowatts also. The car's not very common, Renault Zoe. And another question is, how long will the batteries last? Personally, I think that they're kind of trending towards around 200,000 kilometres, but it seems like a lot of cases the usable life for especially the shorter range electric cars, such as Nissan Leaf, very, very, very popular in New Zealand. I think most people get 150,000 kilometres out of them, but you'll get more at a point where the car has only a short range that it can drive. So perhaps you'll drive your car until it's got 150,000 kilometres. At that point, it might only drive 60 kilometres on a charge or something fairly low like that, which means it's good for going out to the shops and running errands, but it won't be very good to drive between cities because you'll get to a point where there just aren't chargers close enough together to fast charge and get to the next fast charger. But where I live about 50 kilometres from Wellington City, and there's 2 fast chargers in my suburb, and there's a fast charger halfway between where I am and Wellington. So, they're 25 kilometres apart. So a car that can only drive 50 kilometres might be fine, because if you did need to go out to one of the outer suburbs, you could fast charge it in a couple of places to make that journey. And at that point, you're talking about a car that's got 150,000 or 200,000 kilometres on it. It's going to be a pretty cheap car, so just good for a second family car, or maybe a young person who just needs a run-around car. Oh yeah, just on batteries. Yeah, you should buy a car that can drive sort of 30% further than what you do on just a normal driving day. How much does it cost to charge? In New Zealand, charging from a typical 3-pin socket at home, in your garage or out in your driveway, typically about $3 to $3.50 for 100 kilometres of driving. For Americans watching, that's something like equivalent of $2 for 60 miles. And then if you use a fast charger, the older cars that do fast charging charge a bit slower. So the way our pricing for our fast chargers is you pay a little bit per kilowatt hour and per minute you're charging. So fast charging an original Gen 1 Leaf, that's at 2011 or 2012, that'll cost you about $12, something around that. And you might get 80 kilometres of driving if you're lucky. And then charging a newer Leaf, you'll charge for about 20 minutes, it will cost about $10, and you get about 100 k's of driving. So typically everybody's going to charge their cars overnight at home when you're just using it for your regular daily driving. But if you do need to go for a journey out of town or to move the car to another city, that's when you're going to use fast charging. There are some chargers that are free, but typically they have big queues at busy times, so they're not very useful. And there's some chargers that just charge 40 cents per minute, 40 cents per kilowatt hour. And at 40 cents per kilowatt hour, you can charge a typical Leaf for, sort of $5 or $6 or $7. So that's pretty good pricing. Where can I get a warrant of fitness, or where can I get the vehicle serviced? Anywhere that's just part of the Motor Trade Association, you can take it there to service an electric vehicle, and that service will include a warrant of fitness as well. Typically about $100 for a Nissan Leaf or other kind of quite simple electric car. But if you go to a fancy electric cars or a plug-in hybrid, it costs much more, typical around the normal price of a normal car for that type of brand. So typically $100 for annual servicing for electric cars. I've got a question. How will it affect the environment at the end of its life? Well, the thing that's really amazing is batteries are very easy to recycle. And so, for example, the 12-volt lead-acid battery that's typical in most cars, they're already around 99% recycled. So it's quite likely that the battery that's in your current petrol car probably has a 99% recycled material lead-acid battery. Batteries are really easy to recycle because they're basically giant packages of just very specific chemicals. So if you can just design a process to reprocess that bunch of chemicals, then really easy to recycle. So that's really good. And then the rest of the car is just like any other normal car. So I think that overall, when electric cars get used and then recycled again, then environmentally friendly, they'll be really good. Another question, will I need to pay road user charges? In New Zealand, petrol has tax in the petrol, so when you buy each litre of petrol, you're paying road user taxes, which pays for the highways between cities. But in diesel vehicles, because a lot of diesel vehicles are used on farms or off-roads, then you don't have to pay the road maintenance charge in the diesel. And electric cars are the same. Electricity is just electricity, and so the way our rules are set up, that diesel cars and electric cars are essentially the same kind of thing. The energy source can be used for other things rather than just road driving, so you don't pay tax in electricity, you pay for road maintenance. So in the end, we'll have to pay for road maintenance charges by the kilometre for electric cars, and we call this road user charges RUC. At the moment, RUCs for electric cars are exempt until 2021, but sometime in 2021 that exemption will expire. Now I understand that the RUC was extended one other time, RUC exemption was extended another time, so it could be extended again, or my preferred idea would be to have a special rate for electric cars. So for cars below 2 tonnes, they should have a special RUC rate for electric cars, and another one for cars below 1 tonne, because there are some very lightweight electric vehicles in the market as well. So if we did that, then people could go, oh, I'm going to buy one of those special lightweight cars because then I won't have to pay as much for RUC. That's what I would do if I was designing a RUC system. This is my post hoc addition to the video, where this is now the end of the first video, and soon there will be a part 2 of the video. Great. Hey, thanks for watching. Did you like the way I put a tree there? I can't remember if I changed the camera angle. Probably did. It might look weird. Thanks.